I'm pretty stoked about this one. So we got the cold steel AD10. Read off some dimensions real quick. It's got a blade length of 3 5/8 or 3.625, a cutting edge of 3.5, which is, as you can see, very nice because they even included a little choil in there. Blade thickness of 1500ths. Handle thickness of 5900ths. I don't know how they're coming up with that. I did my own measurements. I came up with 5300ths here at the edge, and then as it widens out, 6500ths. So, in my opinion, nicely rounded, very comfortable. And a weight of 6.83 ounces. $165 Blade HQ. I'm assuming all the other places are about the same. S35 VN blade steel, and this one is of the recent, or modern, I should say, acquisition of cold steel. No longer wholly Lynn Thompson, but now it's that conglomerate. G10 handle scales. Oh, look, we got a little sun. Get that to focus a little bit. Yeah, a little bit there. Anyway, it's kind of got that grain in it, but it's nice and smooth. I really like this knife. So a little extra comparison of G10, but a little different. Yeah, it's similar. It's just not, it's not quite as smooth. Yeah, definitely not as smooth. A little more coarse. Actually, I prefer the smooth, to be honest. So this is the Ultimate Hunter. I just did a video on this one. Great knife. This is kind of the big brother of it. Do a little quick comparison. So I think they'll say that they get that lined up there. Yeah, so the AD10 blade is just a little bit longer, 1/8 of an inch. The handle on that Ultimate Hunter, though, is pretty long. Let's see what that looks like here. Let's see if we can get a little better match up. Oh, yeah, maybe a tad. Just a tad longer. It's kind of hard to do here. I don't know. Should have pulled up that measurement. This one does have that glass breaker on it, though, with the lanyard hole. Cool pocket clip. Kind of an upgrade over the OG cold steel pocket clip, in my opinion. So you can see the similarities, same blade shape. Maybe you could say the same kind of handle, at least up here in the forefinger area. And then you can see this has kind of got a palm swell, whereas this one doesn't. It's more like a canoe shape, I'll call it. And then the back, nice rise there, more of a point. But I have large, extra large hands, probably extra large, but it's perfect, comfortable fit. Really nice, even using that forward finger choil for some reason on this knife. I'm not so needing to, I don't see a need to modify this handle one bit whatsoever. Good luck if you do, because you're going to have to grind down the liners too, and this is fully lined. That's where you get some of that extra added weight. But this knife, and I've got several cold steels, and I like every one of them. But this one is just like the kind of the upgrade. That'll focus a little bit. There we go. You know, it's just nicer. Really nice kind of polished G10. Still with some structure on it, but very smooth. You know, everything is polished, rounded. The lock bar is not sharp at all. It's definitely got an edge on it. It's not like they chamfered it off, but compared to this, yeah, that's very coarse. I covered that in the last video. So kind of another comparison though is I do have the 2750, the automatic version of the Benchmade Adamus, one of my favorite knives. I kind of threw this one up here just for comparison because they're both kind of the overbuilt hard use. Similar in size. This is 3.8 inches. It's just a little bit longer, quarter-inch longer theoretically, a little bit more cutting edge. I get that to line up there. Yeah, it does. And still a drop point, but not so abrupt as this. Kind of more of a clip, drop clip, which I prefer. And I think if I can make sense of this right here, this measurement on the standard, the manual Adamas, the 275, I think is just a little deeper belly portion to get a little bit more blade. I think they do that just to lighten this up for some reason. Dimensions are the same, I think, for the handle. This one, what did I pull up? 6300s. Actually, I measured it 6500s, and it's pretty flat. It's square. So you do have chamfered edges, but if you measure this and this, it's 6500s, whereas this is 5300s here at this edge, and then 65 in the middle. Very nice and round. So, cutting, they're both very similar. 1500s, I think this is 1400s. What else? 60 or 6.45 ounces. I think that was the weight of the manual, and the automatic, this should be like 6.17 ounces, so just a tad lighter. And this is 0.4 of an ounce heavier, which is kind of amazing. It actually feels way heavier. I would say the weakness of this knife, the only drawback of this, and it's part of the allure of it, is the weight and the way it carries in your pocket. That's like the only weakness. Is it is a large, and it's not pocket friendly, I'll say that. I don't mind it, and I'm a kind of person that doesn't mind that at all normally. But when you really notice, you can put this in your pocket. It carries a little thinner, obviously, but then it even feels lighter for whatever reason. You can actually tell. And this one is like, it feels like a weight in your pocket. Now, like I said, the only reason why I'm bringing that up is because I like large knives. Okay, I don't see that as a negative necessarily, because I have that. What is it? The 4 Max. That thing is awesome. Quite a bit bigger in the handle than this. Put it in your pocket, whatever, you can carry it. You know, it's a perfect knife in my opinion. This is my favorite of all time ever. You can kind of see kind of how those stack up as far as carrying goes. Weights are within an ounce of each other, but it just carries better. And same length blade, 3 5/8. But when push comes to shove, love this knife. Not even the weight doesn't bother me whatsoever. I think it feels very nice and balanced in hand. It cuts really well, slices well, goes through knots and carves, shaves wood. Great. It's got a really good, it's cold steel. They know what they're doing. And obviously, I am never gonna. Cold steels come very sharp from the factory. Everybody that has one knows that. Maybe it's somebody out there maybe has gotten one that wasn't, but I never have. I mean, they're super sharp. And they sharpen right up. Their steel is great, all of it. AUS-8, AUS-10A, and then S35VN. I have the SR1, and I reprofiled it, just manually reprofiled it, and it didn't take as long as I expected. And it turned out excellent with just what I had on hand to use. So, and it's very durable, no chips. This is crew wear. So this is a little fancier, but kind of the same thing. Never had any chips. Very easy to sharpen crew wear. I've got a Spyderco crew wear. I'll do a review on that as well. But if you're looking for a polished, fancy pants, cold steel, this is a place to go. And you want overbuilt, hard use. That's what these are made for. I will never put them to their limit. I really like lockbacks, but this is the triad lock with the stop pen. It's like every other cold steel I have, great lockup. This one's very smooth. This one is smooth as well, but you know, you can just tell it's just a little bit more coarse. You know, it's cheaper, $65 cheaper or so, 50, 60 bucks less. Still a good option. But if you kind of want the premier cold steel field knife and you don't mind carrying that extra weight, go with this. Go with this over the SR1. I love the SR1. This is just a better field knife. I mean, in hand, it's more comfortable. It doesn't have a ridiculously large blade, but it's big enough, and you can see the swedge here. I get this thing to focus again. Kind of just the blade shape out here, the tip. It's very robust, but slicey. I haven't sharpened this thing yet. It's still cutting good, and I've done a lot of carving with it. And this I can say that I've had this for years. I think I got this in 2021. Seen lots of use. Holds a good edge. Easy to sharpen. It's my experience with S35VN. Holds a good edge. Easy to sharpen. And it's more stain resistant. Though this one's coated. I haven't had any issues with it. But S35VN is kind of growing on me. At first I was like, yeah, what do I need that for? I mean, you know, it's stain. I kind of prefer stainless for sure. But they had S30V and then all sorts of other steels out there. Why'd they have to come up with S35? Well, S35, I think I have Carpenter CTS XHP, great steel. Gets very sharp, holds an edge, but it might be chippy. I have chipped it. I don't know how I did it. So I could have hit something, but it's happened a few times. No complaints. I'm not complaining whatsoever. But this probably holds an edge just as well, but just a little bit more durable. And I'm thinking that's why cold steel actually went to, excuse me. Sorry about that. I didn't have time to hit pause there. S35VN cold steel went from Carpenter XHP to S35, and their claim was because of stock, right, and availability. So they went to this, which could be true. But I think also this is just a more durable steel, and cold steel, if you've seen their videos, is known for beating the heck out of their product testing and showing it. I'm sure all companies do tests on their stuff, but they don't really come out and show it quite as much as cold steel does. So I'm sure that's why they did it, or at least part of the reason. And I think it was a good move overall. I do. I miss XHP. I do have that Recon 1 in XHP. Love it. But maybe the S35 is a little bit better. So I'm not sure what else I can hit on. I just really like this knife. Out of the kind of cold steels I've gotten recently, what was the Bushmaster or the Bush Ranger? I like that knife. It's a little goofy. What else? AD10, really cool. Just not quite like what this is. I mean, this is just kind of a, you know, it's just a beast. I think that's its nickname, is the Beast. And it's very smooth, easy to operate, strong. Smooth in hand, but with good ergos. You know, many good grips you can use with it. Just really like it. Nice thumb studs. I like the pocket clips on these. Kind of doing on some of those models. And as far as Benchmade goes, I don't like these deep. I don't like their deep. For some reason on this knife, it's not really an issue, but they kind of put these deep carry pocket clips on all of their knives. And in my hand, I can feel it moving around and flexing. I don't like that at all. This one, I don't think it just doesn't do it. So I've left this one on. And that's actually from orange juice. This knife was covered in orange juice all winter long. And you know what? All I did was take, no rusting at all on the edge either. No staining and no kidding. But I just took WD-40 and sprayed it off. I think I might have rinsed it off with warm water and then hosed it off with WD-40 and perfect. I think it was in my kitchen. It got OJ on it, and I don't know. Maybe I just couldn't bear to clean it up or something. I can't remember how that went. I think I wiped it off, so at least you couldn't see it. Anyway, yeah, that's all I got for now. But I don't have the Voyager with me, but that's another little comparison. And again, the Voyager, dollar for dollar, ounce for ounce, or dollar per ounce, or whatever. Voyager is the way to go too. But for now, that's all I got. Have a good one.